let's talk about the number one teacher. How you can learn the most things in life. Okay, this is super broad in general. You'll probably don't know what I'm going with this, but let me explain. Books are great. I've preached on this channel about reading and how invaluable it is. Okay, how much reading can teach you and how much more you can get out of it as opposed to even watching podcasts or listening to audiobooks. Reading is invaluable. You really soak in and grasp the information from books because just the way that the authors put it and you actually putting in time, maybe even writing notes as you're reading the book, is going to help you learn a lot. But as good as reading and learning is, hell, even as good as listening to audiobooks is, watching YouTube videos, watching documentaries, as good as all those things are, the number one teacher is none of those things. The number one teacher is experience. Okay? The number one teacher is experience. When I say this, I mean it and then some, okay? As much as you can know about doing something, about how to do something, how to act, you will never, ever fully understand it until you experience it or go through it or try to go through it, okay? Hear me out here. Let's take it back to something that a lot of us probably know how to do. Drive a car, right? How does the process of learning how to drive a car go about, right? I honestly don't remember. It's been a long time since I had to take a driving, but you essentially had to do a online driving course and like learn about the rules of the road and like how to drive and how to operate a car, right? That's the number one step, okay? You have to learn about it. You have to put in a certain amount of time, certain amount of hours, finish a certain amount of courses. I don't know how driver's ed works now, but basically that's what you have to do in order to qualify for your driver's permit, right? Your basic requirement to start to get a driver's license was to do that online educational course, right? But think about it. As much as you knew, maybe you didn't know, but as much as you learned about driving from that driver's ed course, you knowing about it versus actually going into that car the first time and being able to drive, two completely different things. At least it was for me. The first time, I did my driver's ed course completely fully because I know driving could be a serious thing and I didn't want to mess it up. Even at 16 years old, I understood that I had to know everything about it, especially when I went in to take the actual test. I needed to know what the hell to do, right? So I made sure I did my due diligence on this course. And as much as I studied it, as much as I reviewed the rules and things, me getting behind the wheel of that car for the first time was so much different. As much as I knew it was so much different because I didn't know how to do this. You knowing how to do the thing is not the same as you being able to do the thing. And that's why experience is the number one teacher. That's why a lot of times I'll say, hey, college, kind of a scam because with certain jobs, even after you get out of college, you get into them and you don't even know how to do them. Like they have to train you at these jobs. You're telling me you wasted 4 to 8 years of your life at a school and then you get into this job and you still don't even know how to do it? You know why? Because experience. Knowing how to do something and actually being able to do it are two completely different things. Going back to the driver's ed example, the first time I got behind the wheel, I didn't know how hard to press the gas. I didn't know how much to turn. It was all new to me. Just because I knew how to do it doesn't mean I could do it in that moment. I actually had to go behind the wheel and get a few reps in before I was able to comfortably drive. It's the same thing with everything that goes in life, experience. You can know how to talk to girls, right? I gotta be funny. I gotta be open-minded. I gotta be playful. I gotta be flirtatious. But you actually doing the thing and just knowing how to do are two completely different things because something could happen that you don't expect and then a whole wrench goes into your plan. You have to have a grasp of the situation. You need actual practice in the field of whatever it is that you're doing, right? Like I mentioned before, even people like in a medical field, right? People go to school for 48 years to be a doctor, to be a nurse, to be whatever, a psychiatrist. And then they go to their new job and then they got to get trained on how things work in the office, like how certain things are done, how certain things are processed, how, certain clients are treated, various different things. They still have to be trained because they don't know how to do it because they don't have any experience. And again, I don't know if I fully finished this point, but that's why I say school can be sometimes a scam because, again, you learning all this stuff, but you really don't know how to do anything, right? If somebody were to finish high school and do 8 years of work versus somebody that finished high school and did 8 years of college, sure, the person in college might be smarter technically, but who knows how to do more? Probably the dude that actually did 8 years of work, right? Because he was actually in there doing the things. And even though he might not know as much technically, he might not know as many words or definitions or functions or just cognition might not be as high. He knows how to do these things much better than the other person. So what are you really going to value? Somebody who just can talk a lot about the stuff, or someone who actually do it? Right? Now think about that. Think about when I say that. Somebody who could talk about the stuff and someone who can actually do it. Who do you want to be with? Who do you want to be? Do you want to be the person that, oh, I just know a lot about eating and working out, but I really can't do any of those things. I know a lot about how to make a business and start a business and how to move product in, but I really don't know how to do it because I never started it. Who do you want to be? Right? Who do you want to be? You want to be the dude that knows a lot and just says he knows a lot, but really everybody can see you're a fraud because you say you know all these things and you can't do it? Or do you want to say, F it? Maybe I don't know as much, but I'm going to learn a lot just by doing it. And I'm going to learn along the way. I'm still going to not neglect knowing the stuff, but I'm actually going to put work in and learn that way as well. Your brain responds to you actually doing the thing much better than you reading the thing, because you're actually doing something, and when you're failing at it or succeeding at it, your brain kind of forms these wirements in your head to say, okay, this worked, I'm going to do this next time. I know that works. I know this is how it functions, yada yada. This didn't work, I'm not going to do this next time. I know that this is inefficient, I'm not going to do it, yada yada yada. Okay? As opposed to you knowing, now you just can say, okay, I know how to do this, boom. But there's no feedback coming from that. There's no feedback coming from knowing stuff. You can know something, but just because you know it doesn't mean it's going to work every time. You're not going to know how to do it. You have to actually put it into practice, see what happens, and then respond to that. That's going to be way more beneficial for you in the long term. Doing things and failing is going to teach you way more than just knowing stuff, right? Oh, I know this stuff, I know how to do it, yada yada, but you never tried it. You don't really know how to do it. You're scared to fail, really, is what that tells me. And that's why I think a lot of people go to college for the wrong reasons. I made a video about this. I'll probably link it in the description down below, why you should take a gap year before going to college. Because a lot of people are not really going to college to really know what they're doing. They're trying to push down that pain of actually doing stuff down the line, right? Oh, I could just say I know this stuff. Okay, I know how to be an engineer, but when I actually do the work, I don't enjoy it, or I don't like it. So they just say, oh, I know this stuff. And they're pushing that down the line, and when it actually comes down time to be doing the thing that they study for, they really don't want to do it, because when they actually start doing it, they don't like it, or they don't want to do it, or they can't do it. And they get discouraged. They're like, I just did 8 years of school, and I can't do this thing. Well, no shit, bro. You have to try and fail, and it takes time. You can't just know how to do something and expect to go in there and do it. Hey, I know a lot about how to play basketball, okay? I know the rules. I know how things work. I know the ins and outs of it. I know the X's and O's. I'm very knowledgeable when it comes to basketball. But when I go out there on the court, I am not even 1% of the player that LeBron James is. I'm not even 0.005. You know what I'm saying? Just because I know, I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm even as smart as him, but I would argue that I know a lot about basketball, just knowing. But the ability is not even close to anybody in the league. Why is that? Because it's different. Being able to do something and knowing how to do something are not the same thing. You need to know how to do something and be able to do it if you want to excel at it. You can't just know how to do it or be able to do it. You have to do both, okay? A lot of people can know how to play basketball, but they don't know shit about the game, so they're not as good. A lot of people know shit about the game, but they can't really play. They're not as good, right? So knowing how to do something and actually having experience in doing the thing are two completely different things. You cannot say just because you know how to do something that you can do it. And you can't say just because you can do something that you know how to do it. You have to have both. Take action. Actually have experience in that thing. Nobody's saying you got to go out there and play at the highest level, professional, go out there and get a freaking engineering, medical job, straight out the gate, be a neurosurgeon as soon as you get out of college. I'm not saying that, but as you're progressing, as you're learning about the stuff, you should also be experiencing the stuff. I know I keep doing it, putting my arms up because this is like the experience and this is like the learning, but really they got to go like this. They have to be intertwined together. That's how you rise up. It's not enough to just know how to do something. You actually have to put in work and experience and learn how to do it that way. It's a whole different type of learning. It's still learning, but it's a whole different type of learning. Once the knowledge starts to combine with the experience, and it really starts to lock in for you, and you say, okay, so I see the things, once you start practicing, the things that you've been reading about, you're like, oh, I could see what people are talking about. I could see how this works. I could see how this is beneficial. I could see what I'm supposed to do in this situation. Once you start practicing these things, you'll see. Your brain will literally see how these things work for you, and it'll like save them like a video game. Okay, I'm gonna save that as like a cheat code. You know, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna smile. I'm gonna have good body language, right? It'll save that because it'll see the positive reciprocation you're getting from these other people, right? This is just a social aspect, but this goes with everything in life. Your brain will see the stuff that you learn about once you put it into action, that it actually works. Or maybe it doesn't work and you'll see, okay, then I don't do this. And your brain kind of forms these wirements to do or not do these things in the future, and then that's when you become elites and excel at these things that you're trying to work on. It's not enough to know, you have to practice it. I have to stress that to all of you guys, because I know a lot of people fall in this trap of just watching videos, reading books, but they don't actually go out and do any of this stuff, and they think they know a lot about this stuff, and they get a big head and they're like, oh yeah, I got this, I know a lot, I've been on my shit, I've been reading, I've been learning. You have to take the feedback that you're getting in your life, right? Are you not losing weight going to the gym? Obviously that means you're doing something wrong. You probably don't know enough. Maybe you don't know enough about nutrition or working out properly. Okay, maybe you know a lot about going to the gym, but when you go there, you're confused about how to use some of these machines or do the exercises. Okay, then you have to go out there, keep practicing, keep putting in work, and get the form down, all this stuff, right? It's not enough to just know how to do the exercises. You have to be able to do them. Trust me, I've been there. Whenever I tried a new exercise I've never tried before, I'm like, oh yeah, I could do this. I'm a pro at the gym. I've been working out for years. But some of these new exercises, just because I know how to do them doesn't mean I can. It's still awkward to get in the form down with some of the certain things, right? It's the same thing the other way around, right? Just because you could do these certain exercises doesn't mean you're doing them properly. Like maybe you're like, oh shit, I've been doing pull-ups, but I'm literally swinging my legs like crazy, right? I could do pull-ups, but I'm swinging my legs like crazy. I'm not even getting the full rep or range of motion of a pull-up. I'm not really getting the full benefit of it. So you have to be able to do it and know how to do it properly. And once you combine those, you get the maximum output from your maximum effort, and you're just going to be the best. You're just going to go up in life. With everything you do, you apply this concept, knowing how to do it, being able to do it. All right, I've been trying to film an outro for like the last 5 minutes, and for whatever reason, the U.S. Air Force is flying over my house, so there's a plane going by every 2 minutes. You could probably hear one right now. So I'm going to end this video. Make sure to take care of yourselves. Take care of your mental health. I love every single one of y'all. Practice good habits. Practice what you preach. I don't know where I'm going with this. I'll see you on the next one. But.